And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back? What do you mean?
To a long overdue episode.
What do you mean?
Welcome
overdue. Back? This is the first episode.
I'm welcoming myself back. Long overdue.
Did you say ladies and gentlemen? Then what were you implying?
Fagatron.
Okay. So...
long overdue.
Anyway... So you guys can't see what we're about to see, but it is the topic of our first episode in our first series that I think we're really going to be dedicated to, and I think that actually might get us some kind of viewership for the first time. It is going to be called...
I forget what it's called, actually.
This guy has to pull it off. A History of Musical Douchebags, Episode 1.
Episode Uno.
If it's pretty self-explanatory what we're going to do here. We're going to just go through all the biggest douchebags and dickheads and just faggots
that we can think of
from history that made music at one point or the other. And
it's not always going to be people we're familiar with.
Not necessarily, but
randoms.
But we're just going to familiarize ourselves with the douchiness. And episode 1, it's a pretty notorious douche. It's I think it's gonna be a good episode to start with.
Get ready.
And this picture we pulled.
Get ready.
Honestly, we could probably end the episode after just pulling. We'll just pull up this picture, and that's all, folks. That's all, folks. All right, let's do it.
I can't stop.
Episode 1.
You're locked in the eyes. You're locked in.
Do it. Show the people what they need. It's Ted Nugent. It's Ted Nugent. It's Ted Nugent. We're doing this.
Ted Nugent.
The Nuge, folks.
The rock and roll douchebag.
The Nuge.
The Motor City douchebag.
The Motor City madman.
Motor City fuckface.
This guy in the background is like, fuck Ted Nugent. This fucking guy. I should be on that mic.
He's like, what's that face he's doing?
Guns! I love guns and crocodiles in the US of A. I'm Ted Nugent. Okay,
so we're just gonna start. A little brief history on who Ted Nugent is. In case none of you know who Ted Nugent is, and if you don't know who Ted Nugent is, grow the fucking pair of balls.
So here's his wiki. He's a rock star from the early '70s, late '70s. His most famous songs are Cat Scratch Fever, and Stranglehold, which is a better song, but fuck, does it go on forever. Okay, so we're now gonna check out this video.
Conservative rocker Ted Nugent on guns, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah, just some political opinions of Ted Nugent, and
just to give you a hint at his douchiness.
Like, if
a little taste.
If Ted wasn't bad enough, like, you can automatically just assume he's a shitbag because he's on fucking Fox News.
His name is Ted. Do you know a Ted who isn't a douche?
Ted.
First of all, I don't really know any other Ted.
Yeah, Ted Haggard. That guy was like a huge Christian conservative. Like, no. Like, Ted Haggard, dude, is fucked. He ran like a mega church. This fucking guy. And then he got caught doing meth and blowing guys. It's true. It happened, dude. This guy's
because when you do meth, fellas,
you have to blow guys. The Bible.
You have to blow guys when you do meth.
Doing like meth and shit, or heroin or something. I knew it was just something hardcore stuff. Okay.
All right, we're gonna watch this video.
Yeah, that's the only other Ted I know. That's pretty much all I was getting at.
Teds are douches.
Fuck Bill O'Reilly. Fuck Ted Nugent. Here we go.
Rock star in the country is 65-year-old Ted Nugent. Big gun guy. He has sold more than 4 million albums and knows pretty much everybody in the rock world. But sometimes Nugent's politics can make things a bit dicey. So, your place in the music world, you know, most of them are...
That smile, that was so sly. You see that? He just, like, what the fuck did you just do to my voice?
I don't know, everything got it very echoey. Whoa. Okay. There we go.
Like... It's like Bill just like put his foot up next to Ted's dick under the table here.
It's a big gun guy.
You kind of gave him like, no, you gotta check out that smile. Like, just imagine Bill like playing with his dick with his foot as he gives him that smile.
So, your place
no, right there. See, he's like he's playing footsies with his balls under the table. It's like, oh, Bill, you know how to get me going.
Over the years, in fact,
quit it. We're on live television now.
Dedicated their albums to their family and friends, and they had a big.
I wear this hat to hide from the faggots. You see the camo. Bill.
Ted Nugent on their record.
Okay.
But they
I'm not wearing no pants.
I guess they put down the dope temporarily, and they realized that I'm just
we'll get into
a
that.
Detroit
We'll get into that.
who stands up for the right thing. The love fest is indescribable. I have great friends. I've been doing this for over 50 years.
Can't scratch your beaver.
As we were saying, one of his most popular songs.
Records, the bona fides are there in the music industry. McCartney, have you ever run across him?
What do you notice anything about Ted Nugent's songs? That they literally have one hook and they run that hook
one riff
over and over and over again.
One riff and like a million little solo licks.
The thing is, it's not a bad riff most of the time. It's not an amazing riff. It's not like Black Dog or anything, but it's not bad.
What a riff.
But like you need something else.
Here's a great McCartney story. This
one's great.
Let's hear this great story.
So Paul McCartney was being interviewed in Detroit many years ago with his new Band on the Run. And of course, where would any of our quality of life be without the Beatles? And the incredible gifts of Paul McCartney. And so Paul's doing an interview in Detroit where I'm God, by the way. I was just voted the #1 guitarist of all times in Detroit. And Paul was giving an interview, and the interviewer asked him, so what do you think of our Motor City Madman?
Did he just call himself God?
I don't know.
Because I think he said he was just called the greatest guitarist in Detroit at that time.
Okay. I honestly, it's hard for me to pay attention because I tune out Ted Nugent every time I hear that fucker. But like, I'll go.
What a
and so
fucking
Paul's doing an interview in
douchebag.
Detroit where I'm God, by the way. I was just voted the #1 guitarist of all times in Detroit, and
Because Paul McCartney was not voted the greatest
he said
guitarist.
in Detroit where I'm God. He's God in Detroit, is what he said. Oh. Not the greatest guitarist.
Taken out of context.
Yes.
Paul was giving an interview, and the interviewer asked him, so what do you think of our Motor City Madman, Ted Nugent? And he went into this tirade of how I'm a coward because I slaughter innocent animals that can't shoot back. Well, he's a vegan and is serious.
Well, like, okay. I don't hunt, but I think a fair stance to have on hunting is trophy hunting is pretty fucked up. Like, you shouldn't kill things for the fun of it. I don't think. It's ridiculous. If you're gonna eat it and make use of what you're actually doing.
Just the way I see it, if you're taking enjoyment from killing animals, how far away from that is it from actually killing people and enjoying that too?
It depends.
It's a very fine line
Chris,
between the two.
Can you not see if you weren't actually causing harm to an animal? Could you not see the fun in like stalking something in the woods, trying to find it? You know.
Oh yeah, I grew up playing paintball and stuff, and video games that too.
You know, that's what I like. You know, like you could see the appeal of that for sure. That would be sweet.
Yeah, that was like that was my forte when I was growing up.
But like, I think it would be so much fun to just live out in the woods for a couple months and like hunt deer and eat venison.
Well, I've never had a problem people hunting and actually eating them.
Yeah, I think trophy hunting's fucked up.
Yeah,
personally,
just to hang up the antlers and say you killed it, or just to post pictures.
I don't know if Ted does it. I don't know. I really don't.
And so they called me to respond, because they thought we'll get Ted going here on this one. Right. And so Paul condemned me and said I never had a good musical idea in my life, and it was just really hateful.
In general.
And they asked me what my response was, and I go, well, there's only one response I can give to Paul McCartney. Thank you, Paul, for enriching our lives with the greatest music, the soundtrack. And I said, if he wants tofu, I'll shoot him some. The rap thing.
You gonna suck his balls a bit more, Ted?
Okay, he's
gonna lick the tip.
Okay, wait, he's gonna talk about some rap now.
And I said, if he wants tofu, I'll shoot him some tofu. I have no problem. You don't have Ted.
What?
What?
What is he talking about?
Because he had a problem with him shooting animals, and Paul McCartney's a vegan apparently, so he said he'll shoot him some tofu.
Okay, like, I don't know. Like we just explained, we don't know in what context he killed the animal, so I can't really speak
well, it's more fun if you do.
Well, I guess.
But something tells me that I don't think Ted Nugent would have a problem with trophy hunting.
Something tells me Ted Nugent has no problem with killing an animal under any circumstance whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't know. Something just...
There's just that appeal about him. You know what? Let's go fucking kill animals. Yeah.
Like, yeah. Yeah, let's keep going.
Huge, right, Jay-Z?
This ain't politically correct. This might offend my political
Jay-Z fan.
The rap thing is almost taken over the music industry, and you say?
Well, have a nice day with that, but I come from the original Soul Brothers, the James Browns, the Wilson Pickett, Sam and Dave, Bo Diddley.
You come
Okay,
from
but
that?
I love...
Oh, no.
I love all that, though. And
Yeah,
how
that's
does
all
he
great,
come
but
from
how the fuck does Ted Nugent come from that? You ever hear any of those guys? They literally, like I guess he likes those, sure.
And
I
don't see how that is,
I like those.
I don't hear any of that in his music ever.
I don't come from that.
No, but I don't hear any of that in his music either whatsoever. To say his music has influenced that,
Dude, Sam and Dave is
not
like
correct. It's not accurate.
one of my favorite musical groups of all time, easily. I don't come from Sam and Dave. What does that mean? That makes it sound like he was with those guys. You know?
Just reeked of an American, defiant, celebratory, be the best.
But to say the least, I love all those artists that he mentioned, as well as I like and appreciate Jay-Z too. So
I don't like Jay-Z, but like I'm not against rap in general, and he's not attacking. I don't think he's really specific. Like, you could replace Jay-Z with any rapper here.
You think Ted Nugent likes anything to do with rap?
Let's see. I haven't heard shit.
You can be practice as hard as possible and deliver the best music possible. So that was the inspiration for all my fellow musicians, even to this day. I don't get the rap thing, which is fascinating because my son
Okay.
He doesn't get it.
I cut it off just a second too early. Eh? Okay, no. So he's like, okay, so I come from all this. This is where I was getting at before when he said when I come from this, which means that's where his roots are. Like I was inspired by all this. Is what I listened to. I got my music from this, like the chord progressions and you know all that shit, rock and roll. It all evolves. It doesn't all sound the same, but it evolves, and they're saying where does rap get? Like rap was something new, man. Rap came up because it was the product of the times. It was a representation of a culture that had no representation, and it not musically at least, and it broke through in the late '80s, and that's what rap is. Like that, it came from. Like that's all music is
struggle. Poor times, poverty.
That's all music is. He just writes it off because, like, honestly, a lot of rap is just a bunch of horse shit and schlock.
He's never.
But some rap is some of the deepest music you can listen to.
Is rap.
It is, and like, it doesn't matter how deep it is if it's just dick measuring or whatever. It's art, and it's a representation of how people feel and what people live, and that's all you're doing. That's all Sam and Dave was doing. That's all Wilson Pickett was doing. That's all anyone was doing.
That's all Ted Nugent was doing.
And this is just you just don't like it. This is just the same old classic. It's just filth. Nothing but.
You can say the same about any upcoming new genre.
I hate new rap. I hate new rap.
You can say the same about electronic music. You can say the same about newer metal too.
Well, I would say new pop music. There's literally no soul to it because it's not written by the people that perform it.
For the most part, not everyone.
Like 85%.
Yeah, a good chunk.
Written by two guys.
Which I credited at first, but I also support my son in his own musical vision and his own musical dreams. So I don't get that music. If I want funky and I want driving rhythms, I'll go to James Brown or this new guy, Bruno Mars.
As you know, what about this legalization of marijuana thing?
I can't deny that guy's a fucking hell of a singer.
great.
Hell, like I wish he was a soul singer so bad. How good could he be? If he did some Jackie Wilson covers or some shit.
Oh, it would be so
How
good.
good would that be?
It would be really good.
It'd be so good. I would listen to it.
Awesome.
But he does pop music and fuck him.
Because he wants money.
What do you think of that?
Okay, he's a douche.
Would you want your pilot high?
He's a
Would
douche.
you want your butcher high? Who?
Would you want your pilot drunk? Would you want your butcher drunk?
What did he say?
It's an argument against weed. Do you want your pilot high? Do you want, no. But
But if I were to fly a plane, I'd probably be high.
But, he could get drunk if he wanted to. I'm sure he could find a way.
I'm sure many pilots have.
Yeah. So, why is that legal? If that's the argument against it, then why is
Really?
that
Do you
legal?
want most professions?
I'm not making the weird argument for the time.
Who would you want to be?
You don't want your dentist to be high. You don't want your doctor to be high.
Everyone knows this argument.
Like, I build shit that goes on the roads, and you don't want me to be high.
Alright, so we're moving on. This honestly didn't smear him quite as much as I had hoped. Okay. 3, 2, 1. So we're now going to read you a smear article about Ted Nugent, which I cannot speak to the factualness of one way or the other, but it's negative and it's going to be funny and we're going to make what we make of it.
They're pushing some buttons and leading you in some directions,
So-
but we're probably going to follow that direction, heading down that path.
We'll see what happens, and we'll read it. Okay, I'm going to start. Ted Nugent was recently a guest on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, which is a little bit worse than our podcast, but pretty good still.
Pretty up there.
I just actually watched that episode. Chatting about topics like gun control, immigration, hunting, and more. The most surprising moments, however, came at the end of the 3.5-hour interview, where Nugent denied 2 often repeated stories. One, he soiled his pants to avoid the Vietnam draft. I'm just going to read that again. He soiled his pants to avoid the Vietnam draft. And the other, he once became the legal... I keep thinking about he soiled his pants to avoid the Vietnam draft. He's the legal guardian of his then 17-year-old girlfriend.
How old was he?
How old was he?
In 1977.
I don't know. Either way, it's weird. I don't care if he's 18. It's weird.
Yeah,
Both stories have tailed Nugent.
Well, I haven't heard anything about either of those things about Ted Nugent
I don't
before
really,
this.
I don't follow around Ted Nugent.
No, but like you know, you hear things about other people you don't follow all the time. I've never heard this about Ted Nugent.
Ted's not huge.
He's a big enough figure that if this was something that was wildly known, you would hear about it.
Despite what Bill O'Reilly may think, he's not that big, man.
Keep reading, bitch.
I was trying. Both stories have tailed Nugent throughout his career. The Vietnam story comes from a 1977 interview in the High Times magazine, where Nugent said, "A week before, in brackets, reporting for my physical exam, comma, I'm not going to do that. I stopped going to the bathroom, period. Capital I did not.
Shut up.
I'm so sorry. Okay, I stopped going to the bathroom. I did it in my pants. Poop, piss, the whole shot. I feel like that was misquoted. The whole shit. My pants got crusted up, ellipsis. Then they made everybody take off their pants as I did. The sergeant says, "Oh my god." No, wait, I gotta do a better sergeant voice than that. "Oh my god, Private! Put those back on! You fucking swine! Jesus Christ, I didn't realize I stacked shit that high!"
They had a urine test and I couldn't piss, but my poop was just like ooze, man, so I poop in the cup.
Okay, this is a quote. This is a quote.
So I poop in the cup and put it on the counter.
So
I had poop on my hand and my arm. The guy almost puked. I was so
clearly
proud.
This is way before Ted gave a shit about any kind of PR and trying to push any sort of agenda, and he just wanted to dodge.
So just to remind you, this segment is about how much of a douchebag this guy is.
May I preempt what I just said with, if this is true, then
Oh my
all of
God.
what I just said, and yeah, he's clearly just trying to act like a crazy person. Or maybe he was just a crazy person.
I think this guy was fucked up in the head. You think he still
I
is
was so proud. That's the best part, dude.
The guy almost puked.
I
was
had
so
poop
proud.
on my hand and my arm. The guy almost puked. I was so proud.
But my poop was just like ooze, man.
Like, dude. You're such a shitty lyricist. How did you not put that in your fucking songs? That's brilliant.
The 1977 interview, Nugent claimed he got 4F back from the military, which classifies someone as not acceptable for service in the armed forces due to medical, dental, or other physical reasons. While talking to Rogan through...
Do you think it was dental?
I think it was other physical reasons.
I think it might have been mental.
Nugent claims he made the whole story up to screw with people at the high time. So how did he get out of the draft?
Well, we'll keep reading.
Wikipedia claims I got 4F, says Nugent. 4F? 4F means you're physically incapable. I've never been physically incapable of anything. They make it probably physical incapable of fucking his
made
wife.
up the story for High Times magazine. It was High Times?
You know, the great magazine of good information. They turned out that my drummer, KJ Knight, he's actually admitted this and testified that that's what he did. We thought it was funnier than hell. Though Nugent's poop stories never been properly verified, Snopes did some digging and found the military did in fact give him a 4F. Nugent got a high school student deferment in 1967 and a college student deferment in 1968. After being reclassified for military service in 1969, Nugent was rejected as a result of a physical examination in 1969.
Okay, so he
and ultimately given a 4S classification, although the records don't show why he received the 4F.
Okay.
So he was denying the 4F at all.
Yeah, he did. And someone did so.
And clearly, it's right here.
That seems pretty black and white to me. I don't know. All I can maybe this is a fake. That's literally all I can say.
What is this?
Anthony Theodore Nugent.
I know, but what is this?
This is, what do you mean? Extract registrant classification record. It's a, like, fill out form for the draft. He didn't dodge the draft. He went to the draft and purposely failed his
I know
examination.
The Ted-hating liberal press started quoting the High Times magazine and quoting an ex-girlfriend who claimed that I adopted her. I adopted my girlfriend? Have you read that one? What the fuck? Absolutely absurd. I didn't adopt anybody.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this, so
I've never heard anything.
The former
about
girlfriend in question, Pele Massel, was 17 years old at the time. The 30-year-old Nugent allegedly became her legal guardian. Allegedly. In VH1's Behind the Music episode, Ted Nugent, Massa said, I was underage, and even back in the wild 70s, it wasn't a terribly appropriate situation in most people's eyes, and now it would be criminal. During the time, the age of consent was 14 in Hawaii, 16 in Nugent's native Michigan, but 18 in many U.S. states. The Behind the Music narrator states, Ted admits to a number of liaisons with underage girls, and while it may have raised eyebrows, it never raised the interest of the local authorities. Pele's mother signed papers making Ted her legal guardian. This is according to the Behind the Music narrator. Whatever the fuck that is. So, the Behind the Music narrate states, Ted admits to a number of liaisons with underage girls, and while it may have raised eyebrows, it never raised the interest of local authorities. Pele's mother signed papers making Ted her legal guardian. And take that with, like a cup of salt at the very least, because Behind the Music from VH1 or whatever, so who the fuck knows.
Got the stamp of approval of their parents, Nugent revealed in the VH1 special, because they figured better Ted Nugent than some drug-infested punk in high school.
Okay, so both things like Ted said, and then now denies and backtracks on, so.
So was he just drunk and spewing shit, or thinking it was funny?
Or this article is quoting shit that never happened.
That, or this article is completely correct.
Okay, so
accurate on every point.
We have one last video and one last piece of this. which we watched a couple seconds of.
We're gonna rate him on a douche factor of 10 after.
Oh yeah, we're rating him. Well, I don't know what number we're gonna do it out of 10 or what.
Probably 10.
But okay, whatever. But we got this video. We watched like 5 seconds. And we're like, oh my god, this needs to be in there. Like it's.
Which one? I forget.
It's absurd douchebaggery.
Oh yeah. Restart the video.
Absurd douchebaggery.
Yeah.
It seemed like it.
That's why we're talking. I know what it's worth. You can make lots of money, and my kids get $25. That's really soulless.
You can make First of all, he's selling autographs
Okay.
here. You can make lots of money. My kids only make $25.
That's soulless. I'm a millionaire. My daughter's gonna go hungry.
I toured the country in the prime time of rock and
They're
roll.
gonna go hungry.
Sold millions of records.
Keep going.
$20 for these albums. They're albums.
$20 for 2 albums. See, it's all business with these guys. They expect me to do this.
What do you mean? It's all business with you.
Benefit from their evil fucking lives.
Oh my god! Like this is how you treat your fans,
you dude.
Your feeble fucking
dude,
lives.
I would've
It's
hit
like,
him so
can you imagine,
hard
Chris?
there.
Could you imagine, like, if you
Oh.
were a rock star and someone came up to you and was like, "Dude, can you sign my album? I love what you do."
Yes,
Wouldn't you be-
give me that record. I
wouldn't
would
you be
sign
like,
anything
"Dude,
for you.
you're
Like I will sign.
great."
I will hold your like rock hard dick and sign that for
Like,
you.
it's not like he's at a dinner with his wife here. I could understand him getting pissed off there, you know.
What a guy, man! I want to fucking sock this guy in the throat.
It's all business. You're not giving.
It's all business. It's just
You're
all
not
business.
giving me enough money. It's all business with you.
200 for 3 of them. These fucking things this guitar right now is about $60. I signed
What's your time worth, Ted? How much are you wasting right now? You might as well just sign them.
All I'm asking is for 10%. I don't even think that's neat. I think you should get 10%. I should get that.
I can't get this to 25.
Not afraid. I've been watching this stuff happen lately.
Really incredible.
Terrible. Now, you guys aren't like communists or anything.
Cocksucker.
You guys aren't communists or anything, are you?
Oh, like.
Sorry, this guy's douche rating just skyrocketed after this video.
Oh my god.
Just after this video,
He's at
it's
least
skyrocketed.
at an 8.
It's just this video alone. It was already. It was like probably like 6
You're acting like
6.5 before this video made it up with a solid 8.
He's Shooter McGavin. He's like Shooter McGavin, dude.
You know, do we even have time to do this? Alright, because I'm enjoying it. This is cute. I'm learning how to deal with my fellow man. Look at this guy.
Do I have time? Do I have time for this? Do I have time to watch this fucking
That's what I said earlier,
douchebag
like,
on the screen?
I said, what is Ted Nugent's time worth? Is this
It's not worth shit,
So
dude. This guy belongs in the dirt.
Wait. Literally, him standing here and having this conversation with these guys completely contradicts what the point he's trying to make is that my time is worth more than this, so I'm not going to do it for that amount of money. My time is worth more than that. But if you're standing here wasting all this time with them, you're not making anything because you're denying them even any money. So you might as well make the little money they're giving you and move on and give these guys an autograph.
If I had that guitar, I would just wreck it over
and make
his
a
face.
guy's day who is like one of the people that are the only
Dude, he
reason
doesn't give a
you have.
fuck about that.
There's no, like
Ted Nugent doesn't care about you. He
You're
doesn't care about how you
You're
feel.
famous because of your fans, Ted.
Fucking broker here, man. There's the pink guy.
Out his ass.
What a douchebag.
I just want to hit him. I just want to hit him. That's it.
Yeah, like.
It's like fucking Crocodile Dundee's fucking creepy uncle, man.
Okay, so douche rating.
So, I said we both give our own douche ratings.
All right.
I think
Kale douche rating. What's up?
8.5.
Why?
Why 8.5? I think I'd more have to explain why not 10. Is it not why he's 8.5? Is because that Bill O'Reilly interview, first of all, I thought was gonna be a lot a lot more damaging to his personality, but he wasn't too wild. I know Ted's super wacky, crazy motherfucker, but he's not a complete idiot. He doesn't. The one thing I can say about Ted is everything that he stands for, he at least has something to back it up with. Even though I don't agree with it, he has something to back it up with. He doesn't just say that's right because
usually his backing up is just him rambling about nonsense.
I don't know. He
has just pulling it out of his ass.
I prefer someone who has some explanation for what they believe, because that means that there's something going on in their brain. There's something that led him to that. There's some process going on that led him to that decision. He's not just believing it inherently or in a dogma. I don't think. I think he actually came to these conclusions himself. I think his reasoning is flawed, but I think he did come to these conclusions honestly and holds them honestly. He doesn't hold them for anyone else's, he's not bought or anything like that. He's just fucking stupid. 8.5.
He's a moron.
Why? What do you give him?
A douche rating out of 10.
Out of 10.
8 keeps popping in my head, so I'm gonna have to go with an 8.
Solid 8. Less than me.
Yeah.
Any explanation for your rating?
Well, like 8's, it's not a generous number by any means.
Yeah. By the way, if you didn't catch on, the higher the number, the worse the douche.
Yeah. It was just it was really that last video that did it for me. It was just the way he treated people, especially someone who really enjoys music.
We skipped stuff because we went too long on things. Like we didn't get to his animal rights shit much. We could have got way more.
We could have gone to his.
We could get into another. We could do a Ted
and...
Nugent douchebag part 2 later on, but I want to keep this video to 30 minutes or less, hopefully.
Yeah, just the way he was trying to get the most money out of his fans for just the fact that people want to buy your albums, and already you've sold millions and millions and millions of albums, and you've toured the world for decades.
I understand you get sick of the...
I don't care how long you've done it. You respect the people that put you where you are.
These guys weren't... Ted wasn't in a rush. Clearly.
And the thing that really got me is it seemed that... Not even seemed. I could tell he was taking enjoyment out of fucking with those poor people.
Yeah. But when a guy just finishes concert, he's just trying to get to his limo and get home.
Dude, he was genuinely enjoying making their lives miserable, making them cough up more money for something that he gets for free, and then he's gonna sell and gain 100% profit anyways. I guarantee you, he gets those albums for free.
Ted straight up cucked them out on the sidewalk, and Ted is a douchebag.
He's saying what your guitar's worth $60, and when I sell it, it's gonna be thousands. I should be getting that. You should be getting 10%. Fuck you, man. You're getting all these royalties for all the albums you sell. You're getting all these fucking merch sales and all these.
I can't speak for the guy, but I don't think he's getting that signature to sell it, man. I don't know.
Anyways,
this is it.
Ted Nugent's a fucking douche.
It's been the
Jobless
first
deadbeats
of A History of Musical Douchebags.
Peace on, motherfuckers.
Peace off.